So I'm a fan of the House of Le Labo, but they had one fragrance in their collection that I really did not enjoy. In fact, I hated it, and for the longest time, I kind of just dismissed it because it smelled really odd to me. I mean, that happens quite frequently. There are fragrances that I don't like, then I come back to it. It's a full circle. But along the way, I've embraced fragrances that are similar to this fragrance. And if you recently caught my Christmas haul video, you saw that I picked up a bottle. As you can see, I have it here. So if you want to find out what took me to get here and which fragrances were the fragrances that inspired me to finally appreciate Santal 33 and learn a little bit about this fragrance, of course, and also the two other fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Today it's all about Santal 33, also Louis Vuitton's Hasard, and then last but not least Santal, no I shouldn't say Santal, Century by the House of Dunhill. And if this is your first time tuning into the channel, but you still haven't subscribed to the channel and you love watching these kind of videos, then there's a subscribe button below. Please click that and also click the bell icon so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So yeah, Santal 33 is not or was not a love it first sniff. Just like Baccarat Rouge, where I've come full circle and really enjoy that fragrance, I'm doing the same thing with Santal 33 now. What I didn't like about this fragrance and this kind of particular style of fragrances, that I was totally used to sandalwood smelling creamy. I was totally used to the sandalwood in Guerlain's Samsara, which I gave to my mom when I was 19 years old. I really loved the way that smelled, and I ended up buying a bottle with my hard-earned money. Very, being young and poor at the time. I bought a bottle of that fragrance for my mom because I loved the way it smelled and I wanted her to wear it so I can smell it. I always envisioned sandalwood fragrances to be more on the creamy side, and I think that is a reason why this fragrance just rubbed me the wrong way. It smelled odd, it didn't smell correct, and so I just dismissed it. But slowly it was things have kind of popped up along the way, and I started appreciating it more because I was appreciating other fragrances more. And what I didn't care for the sandalwood here is the fact that it had a weird laundry fresh cleanliness to it. And even though I like clean fragrances, I love the idea of laundry fresh, in here the sandalwood kind of acted like it was cracked candied sandalwood, which is odd to envision, but I felt like if you put sandalwood chopped up into crumbles and pieces and it was crunchy, candied, that's the experience I was getting when I was wearing this one. So I just didn't really appreciate it. But Le Labo Santal 33 I'm a fan of now, and according to a lot of people that I speak to, the sales associates at the stores, Barney's, which is sadly going away, and just online research, this supposedly is the most popular fragrance in the Le Labo collection. It was launched in 2011. It's using Australian sandalwood, leather, cedarwood, ambroxan, cardamom, iris, violet. It's the priciest of the fragrances we're going to talk about today. 100 ml bottle, $275. EDP Eau de Parfum concentration. Perfumer here is Franck Voelkl. And what I get with this one, as I was saying, that cracked and candied like sandalwood pieces, and because it doesn't wear smooth, you can experience the crackling, the crystallized sandalwood pieces in here. But along the way, you also experience a lot of woody notes. Like there's a lot of woody notes in this one, and it's definitely the dry kind, not the creamy kind that as I said, I'm used to. The other thing I got with this one was like citrus drizzled cucumbers, along with that candied crystallized sandalwood chunks or pieces. So it was a very, very odd experience for me. Still had that laundry freshness in the background. You can pick it up. But that was my experience. The other thing in here that I don't find credited on Le Labo's website, but it is mentioned on Fragrantica, is that they say that there's a papyrus, which to me also smells like Cypriol oil, which the other two fragrances, I think the other two fragrances both have. Definitely one of them has it. So I guess I wasn't really used to that smell of Cypriol or papyrus in fragrances. So all of this combination just didn't react very well with me. But I've come full circle. I'm enjoying this one now, and I like that combination of those notes. And Cypriol or papyrus is a very earthy, woody, spicy kind of a smell that's herbaceous. It's a weedy kind of herbaceous plant that grows in the earth, and that is present here. And as I said, it's not mentioned on Le Labo's website. I pick it up so big here. It's really, really prominent for me, but maybe it's a combination of all the notes it's creating this accord, but as soon as you smell it, it's like really big. It's there. So that's what I'm saying is my experience with this one. And out of all three of these fragrances, it's the second long-lasting of all three as far as longevity goes. I know a lot of people are asking me about why don't I speak about longevity and all that good stuff. It's just very different on different people. But for me, this one is the second longest lasting fragrance. So that is Le Labo Santal 33. Guys, are you familiar with this one? I'm sure you are. It's really, really, really popular. And if you are familiar, is it something that you like to wear? Is it a fragrance you like? Is it a style you like? Woody? Sandalwood, not creamy. As I said, this is definitely not creamy. Do you enjoy this kind of fragrance, or do you prefer sandalwood fragrances to be more like the creamy variety, the smooth, milky variety, which I really, really love? And that's kind of one of the reasons why I had a challenge embracing Santal 33. So that is Santal 33 from Le Labo, launched in 2011. And I think Santal 33, since it's so popular, it's very, very popular for Le Labo, but it's also very, very expensive. A lot of people have emulated it or copied it, created their own versions of it, or inspired from it and all that good stuff. It's not a flat-out clone, and I'm saying with these three fragrances I'm talking about today, they're not flat-out clones, but there's the inspiration's there. I can totally smell it. And when I put my noses on it, I can pick up one from the other to the other, and it's like the inspiration's there. They're definitely not clones, as I said. And also, these are three fragrances that I own. I'm sure there's so many more fragrances out there that were inspired by Santal 33. I don't own them all, but when I got these fragrances, the other two are the Louis Vuitton Hasard and Century from Dunhill. That's when I started smelling and remembering smells of other fragrances, and then it reminding me Santal 33. And I was like, okay, I think I'm embracing this fragrance now. I hated it at first. Now I do enjoy it and love it, and I like wearing it. And I can't remember if I mentioned this. There's a very cucumbery undertone with these three fragrances. I don't know where that comes from, and I think I did. With this one, I get citrus drizzled cucumber. Like just take lemon or some kind of a citrus and drizzle it on that cucumber. It's mostly cucumber, but it has this like citrus-like smell to it. So it's very, very prominent here. So anyway, the cucumber thing is very, very interesting. I love eating cucumbers, cucumber salads and things like that. So it does hint at the cucumber in there. But the laundry-like quality is really, really present throughout all three of these fragrances. So 2011 was the launch of Le Labo's Santal 33. Fast forward to 2018, and along the way I'm sure other fragrances were launched that I don't own that were similar to the Santal 33, but in 2018, earlier part, I think it was May, is when Louis Vuitton launched Hasard, this one right here. So this one's utilizing Sandalwood, Cardamom, Ambrette, Mandarin, Petitgrain, and then it retails as 100 ml for $250, so it's a little less, $25 less than the Le Labo, and this is a refillable bottle. As 100 ml, you can get it refilled for $150 or $160, I can't remember. It is EDP concentration, and the perfumer here is a Jacques Cavallier. For me, this one is the lightest of all three, go figure. It performs, I guess it performs similar to Le Labo's Santal 33, maybe a little lighter, not too much. And the cheapest one is the one that lasts the longest on me, and I'll tell you why that is. And I've already spoken about this type of performance thing. But Santal 33 and even Louis Vuitton's Hasard are on the dry side, with Louis Vuitton's being the driest of them all. And this one, the sandalwood in here, when I put my nose to it, I do pick up the sandalwood in Santal 33. It's there. I also pick up a little bit of Cypriol once again, but I'm not getting it listed here. It's not listed as a note. But with this one, it's lots of leather. It's very leathery, but it's the fresh kind of leather. It's a fresh leather. So if you like the idea of leather fragrances, wearing them, and you're thinking like something like Tuscan leather is so heavy, so dense, this is the kind of leather you might check out, because Louis Vuitton has many different fragrances, leather themed or inspired fragrances in their collection, and they tend to be fresh. It has the fresh backbone, the watery DNA that Louis Vuitton fragrances have, and it's definitely prominent here. So in the end, it doesn't weigh down. It's not heavy with the leather, but it is all about leather. There's lots of musk here. You do pick up Cardamom. And then there's, lots of sandalwood. It is very, very sandalwoody. And then they've thrown in some notes like Ambrette and Pear and Cashmeran. So it's a very, very woody and leathery, sandalwoody combination of fragrant notes to give you slightly airy. It's not really dense, lighter, easier to wear kind of an experience where it definitely hints at the Santal 33 from Le Labo, not Louis Vuitton. And I think this was the first one that I picked up. I picked up Century at the very, very beginning of January 2019. So picked this one up in May of 2018. And this is the first time it reminded me of Santal 33. I was wearing it and enjoying it and liking it, and immediately I was thinking, God, this one really does remind me of Santal 33. That sandalwood in here is so prominent. I'm picking up this like Cypriol, like papyrus like note in here that's not credited once again, and it really does remind me of that fragrance. And that's probably the first time I started appreciating Santal 33, because all along I was like rubbed the wrong way with this one and hated it. I mean, there are fragrances that I hate. I don't usually like to speak about them as much on the channel, but this is one of those videos where I used to hate a fragrance and I've now embraced it completely. But as I said, this is the one that I started wearing and that started reminding me of Santal 33 and got me to appreciate whatever kind of a scent a Santal 33 is. That very dry, crystallized, crunchy, candied sandalwood-like experience where it's very laundry fresh, laundry clean with like hints of cucumber and all that good stuff. So that's not a full experience here. Only the sandalwood in here reminds me of the sandalwood in Santal 33, but the wearing experience is more leathery, musky, and then of course sandalwoody. But overall a great fragrance. I feel like this one doesn't last on me as much as this one does. It's just the lightest for me overall out of 3, but it's pretty close to the way Santal 33 performs. And out of the two, I appreciate this one more now, even though this is a fragrance I bought before this when I didn't really like this. Go figure that one. Anyway, Louis Vuitton Hasard, launched in 2018. Definitely one for you to try. And again, this is $250 for 100 ml. This is $275 for 100 ml. Actually, both of these are refillable now that I think about it. The refills for here are 200. Refills here are about a 150, 160. So in the end, this turned out to be the cheaper fragrance. But then again, this lasts a little longer on me. Anyway, those are those two. And finally, last but not least, Dunhill Century is my favorite out of the 3. Absolutely love this one. And as soon as I smelled it, it really did remind me of Santal 33, but it was different, but then again the same. But this one was launched in 2018. This one features the notes of Cypriol, Neroli, Sandalwood, Olibanum, Grapefruit, Mandarin Orange, Cardamom, Bergamot, Musk. Now, with this one, you can find a 75 ml bottle at Fragrance X for $30 currently. Very, very inexpensive, and I highly recommend this one. This one's very, very classy. In fact, if you are on a budget and you like those two fragrances that I just spoke about, Le Labo Santal 33 and also the Louis Vuitton Hasard, definitely go for this one. It's definitely worth it. Just like Dunhill Icon, which is an awesome release from this house, this one also is as awesome as Dunhill Icon, but this one doesn't have... I should say almost as awesome as Dunhill Icon. Century doesn't get the hype. I don't know what it is, but let me tell you more about this one. Created by Carlos Benayem. First of all, he's an awesome perfumer. He's created fragrances for Frederick Malle and many other brands. So he's definitely a guy that knows how to make fragrances. And if this was inspired by Le Labo Santal 33, what they did with it then is awesome, because I really do like this a lot more than Santal 33. And the reason I like this a lot more is, I also want to mention its eau de parfum concentration. The reason I like this one a lot more than Santal 33 is because it's like a nice balance of that crunchy, candied, crystallized sandalwood with Neroli. This one has lots of Neroli. In fact, I feel like the Neroli is even more prominent than the sandalwood. But it's a nice balance of the two notes. So it's a fresh floral take on that crunchy, crystallized, cucumbery sandalwood. And this one to me smells a lot like laundry fresh, clean linens and freshly laundered linens and laundry with like a really nice, lightly fragrant smell, or some kind of a detergent that is used, but it's not overwhelming, but also it does really cover up, I mean not cover up, but like your sheets definitely, or your laundry definitely does smell like it, rather than sometimes you use a product to wash your laundry and it doesn't really smell like that product because the detergent smell doesn't transfer over to the laundry. But for me, this one smells like really awesome detergent that actually has heft to it, and it's actually definitely transferred over to the laundry. But there are lots of Cypriol here. It's really prominent. In fact, Neroli, Sandalwood, and Cypriol are the main players here, and that Cypriol and the papyrus that's mentioned in here, very similar. I mean, I feel like papyrus and Cypriol, even though as a plant they're in the same family, they look similar. I feel like they smell similar. It's that earthy, woody, kind of herbaceous, spicy kind of a smell that is definitely prominent, and it's definitely here. So it's a nice balance of Cypriol, it's a nice balance of Sandalwood, and it's a nice balance of Sandalwood. There's also the cucumbery undertones here as well, but not so citrusy as it is here. I mean, here there's not a lot of citruses mentioned, and the cucumber quality that I get here is almost like a citrus drizzled cucumber. Here there's lots of citruses, but the cucumbery aspect of the fragrance doesn't come off citrusy. I don't know if that's really easy for you to understand. The fragrance itself is citrusy, but not the cucumber part that I'm picking up. I know, it's a little complicated. Now there's also some traces of Olibanum here. There is a muskiness. There's some cardamom. You definitely pick up cardamom. In fact, all three of them have cardamom, and it's there. I think what it creates, maybe it's just all these different notes that come into play with these three fragrances that gives you that very interesting experience. But lots of bergamot also. There's lots of grapefruit, so it's very citrusy. Mandarin orange. So I feel like this is a winner, and for me, this is the least driest out of all the three of them, the least driest. And with my body chemistry being dry, I feel like if a fragrance wearing experience is not dry, it lasts longer on me, and this one definitely does last longer on me. And it's the cheapest. It is so inexpensive. A 75 ml bottle is $30. I think it's definitely a winner. So again, I'll say, if you're on a budget for Santal 33, if you want a version of that fragrance that's more citrusy, neroli, fresher take on it, but still it has depth to it because it's very woody, it's Sandalwood and Cypriol, then definitely Dunhill Century. And I think finally, Dunhill Century is what really got me to appreciate Santal 33, because I find them very similar with nuances, you know, uniquenesses with each fragrance. This one kickstarted it, but it's not really full-on Louis Vuitton, I'm sorry, it's not really full-on Labo Santal 33, but this one really does remind me of Santal 33. They're not identical, it's the experience I get, and I think it's a winner. It's a sleeper one, this one. Not a lot of people talk about it, as I said, but definitely give it a chance. Get a sample or decant or something and test it out. If you have a bottle of this and you're looking for something that you don't want to wear all the time because this is so expensive, you want a least expensive or less expensive version of it that you can travel with, decant and take, you know, decants with you at places and you can replenish. Get a sample, try it out, and then you can get it and use it as your alternative, less expensive alternative to Santal 33. Perhaps a fresher, juicier, citrusier, floral take on Santal 33. Anyway, those are my thoughts on these three fragrances, guys. What are your thoughts? Are you a fan of Santal 33? Are you a fan of Louis Vuitton or Hasard? Are you a fan of Dunhill Century? Do you like these fragrances? Have you found the similarities with the Sandalwood? Do you experience the Sandalwood as I do? A crunchy, crystallized, candied, choppy kind of Sandalwood versus a very creamy, beautiful Sandalwood that is completely different in this Sandalwood and these three Sandalwood fragrances than the creamy ones. Let me know. Also, if you have similar fragrances to these fragrances, let me know those what those are as well. I'd like to check them out finally. But other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching this video today. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.